I bet. So first thing, I don't know if you guys have been seeing, but Hasan Piker has been going viral. Hasan Kami Piker has been going viral because he apparently shocked his dog. He was streaming for a very long time. His dog was sitting somewhere in the background, and he shocked his dog. He shocked the shit out of his dog. Allegedly, of course, he's fighting against that narrative currently, showing off, oh, my dog doesn't actually have a shock collar or whatever. It was just a vibration collar or what the fuck ever. But based off what everybody's kind of saying, the evidence is kind of more looking like this nigga is shocking his dog or whatever. So why am I mentioning this to you guys? Well, I think this shows a bigger vision around the communistic mindset or the mindset of communists. Because as you guys know, Hassan Piker, for the most part, is a socialist communist based off a lot of his political views. And I think it's interesting. This whole situation with his dog is it gives you a chance to see the mindset of a lot of these communists. Communists, they hate free will. They hate the idea of freedom. They hate the idea of entities, whether it be people and or animals, exercising their free will or their intuition to any degree. Exercising their true nature to any degree. You know, they want their dog to stay in the same place. You can't move. Do what I say. If you don't do what I say, you get shocked. This is why during a lot of communist revolutions and shit, millions of people die almost all the time because it's a fight against free will. With a lot of these socialists and communists, they're against capitalism, they're against the free market, they're against free will. This is why a lot of people on the left, the Dems, the liberals, the leftists, they hate having conversations and shit. They hate platforming and talking to right wingers. Conservatives usually have a very good understanding of leftist talking points. They understand Dems, they understand liberals, they understand where they're coming from. But for the most part, to make it very simple, conservatives are like, well, this is reality. Free will exists. And to them, niggas like Hasan, they're like, no, people must think this way. Everybody should be the same. There should be equality for everybody. But I'm like, we all operate differently. We all have different desires. We all make different choices. And because we make different choices, we get different outcomes. But in the foolish, crazy communist mind, it's like, no, everybody must be the same. Everyone must operate the exact same way. If you don't do what I want you to do, you get shocked. You can't move on your own. That's the communist morality. That's how they see things. They want you to be a certain way. You don't get to have free will. They don't like the idea of free will. They don't like the idea of freedom. Because freedom naturally creates what? Inequality, guys. That's just how it works. Because if I am free to make my own choices and you are free to make your own choices, we're going to get different outcomes. If I decide to do this thing over here, for example, even speaking more to the economy, if I decide to do things over here that give me skills that make me more money, and you decide to do things over here that don't give you new skills and don't make you more money, who's going to have more money, me or you? Obviously me, because I made different choices and decisions from you. That's just what happens. When there's freedom, there's going to be inequality. This is why communists, they hate fucking freedom. This is why they want to put a shock collar around your dumb ass and shock the fuck out of you. Because they know if you're left to your own devices, you're going to have things or you're going to get outcomes that other people are not going to get. And I know you guys are sitting here like, Ali, how are you just dragging all this from a dog situation? Because it's real. That's what it is. This is how a lot of these communists think. A lot of these communists, they don't want to talk to people. They don't want to have conversations. They don't even, that's why they don't like the idea of freedom of speech. This is why Dems and leftists and liberals, they love to censor people during the entire Biden administration. They loved censoring all conservatives. They loved censoring everybody on the right. They were going in and out of their way to censor people on the right. Right? Because they don't like having conversations. They just want to control your behavior. Because fundamentally, whether some of them are smart enough to understand it or some of them are not, they understand if people have free will, they're going to get different outcomes for me. It's just going to create inequality. We have to accept the fact, we have to understand the fact that some people want to work harder than others. That's just true. Some niggas are just innately want to work harder than others. If you're watching me, you're probably a guy who wants to work harder than other guys. Most guys don't want to work very hard. Most guys want to have their work-life balance and other shit like that. I don't subscribe to that shit. I don't want a work-life balance. I just want to work. I just want to grind. I just want to go harder than ever. I like pushing myself. I like seeing how hard I can go. I like seeing how much I can accomplish. I like seeing how much I can achieve. And you're more than likely the same way. That's why you're watching me. That's why you're part of the fam, right? For Young Ambitious Men. That's why you guys are here. So naturally, you guys are going to get different outcomes than guys that are the opposite of you. And communists, they don't like that. They don't like that inequality. They don't accept that reality. That's why they hate freedom. That's why Hasan be shocking the fuck out of his dog. He doesn't like his dog exercising its free will. It's innate desire. He wants to force a dog to do exactly what he wants to do. This is why a lot of these communists, they're self-centered, they're narcissistic. Because they're trying to force the world to be that it's not. They're trying to force the world to be a way that it's not. That's how they operate. They expect a dog to sit in the same place for 4 fucking hours straight, for 6 fucking hours straight, without moving or complaining or whining at all. That's their expectation. Is that real? Is that natural? Does it make sense for a dog to be operating that way? Fuck no. But if the dog tries to act on its nature, act on any kind of autonomy, shocked. You know what I'm saying? That's the situation. So I'm commenting on this situation so you guys can see and just get a better understanding of the morality of a lot of these communists, these Dems, these leftists. They hate reality. That's just the fundamental shit here. They just don't like reality. They don't like what's real. They hate freedom. They hate when other people can be free. That's why when Dems are in power, what do? They censor, they silence, they commit political violence, even when they're not in power. They silence you. If they can't argue with you, they silence you. Because they know if you're free to think what you want to think and you start making too much sense, they can't combat against that because deep down, they don't want you to be free. They want you to just abide by what they want you to abide by. It's just narcissism. It's inherent narcissism. It's evil. They want to impede on your ability to make choices. This is why they always want to eat the rich, take from the rich. Which really just means I want to take from people who like to make different choices from me. I want to have your stuff for nothing just because I want it, just because I believe everybody should have what you have. But why? I worked for this stuff. Why should I give my shit that I worked for to you just because you want it? Why should the dog have to sit in the same place for 4 hours straight for no fucking reason? Why can't it walk around? I get everybody has their own rules or the way they want to operate with the animals that they have. Don't get it twisted, guys. But what I am saying here is, though, some things are just clearly unreasonable and unfair. I'm not some big animal safety and protocol guy. I'm gonna be real. I'm not. I don't have a dog. I don't have pets. I have a lot of respect for animals, though. You know, I wouldn't go in and out of my way to hurt an animal or anything like that ever. I think that's just wrong. Why would you go hurt a living being? Why would you go impede on the life of a living being for no fucking reason? I would never hurt an animal for no reason. You know? But I can see a situation where it's like, why are you treating the dog this way? Why do you even have a shock collar on the dog that's being quiet? The damn dog is sitting in the same place for 4 fucking hours. Like, you're shocking the fuck out of the dog just because it moves a little bit. This is how these communists are. Guys, this is how these leftists really think. This is how they really feel about shit. They want to control you. They want to control your behavior. Fucking imagine if Kamala had won, guys, in 2024. Cooked. Hell, my channel would probably even start getting nuked with a lot of my talking points that I've been making. Like, my channel would be getting nuked. A lot of people on the right would be getting nuked. A lot of conservatives. Your Crowders, your Nick Fuentes, your Myron Gaines, Andrew Tate, all these niggas. I mean, Fuentes doesn't even have a YouTube channel. Tate doesn't even have a YouTube channel. Only imagine what would have happened if Dems were in power. They would have silenced everybody because they don't want to debate. They don't want to have arguments. They don't want to talk to other people. They just want to control what you do. This is what these communists want to do. They hate that you have free will. They hate that you make your own decisions. Because they understand you making your own decisions, you having free will allows you to have things and gain things they can never hope to imagine to have themselves. So they'd rather take it from you. They'd rather make sure that you can't have that shit. They'd rather work you like a dog. They'd rather make you a slave so you do things for them. This is why all these communist regimes always crash and burn, because it goes against what is natural. Leftists just hate what's real. They just hate reality. This is why facts, it makes them implode. Hell, that's them getting shots. When you tell a leftist there's only two genders, they're just pronouns don't exist. A man can't become a woman. Get shocked like crazy. That's what the truth and facts does to them. So I just want you guys to really understand. That's how a lot of these leftists and liberals and Dems think. They're not really concerned about what is real. They're not really concerned about facts. They're not really concerned about common sense. They don't give a fuck. They just want to control your behavior. They hate freedom. They hate the idea of freedom. This is why a lot of the times the way that they behave, they hate this country. And obviously they'll say, oh no, this is for America and blah, 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 blah. Nigga, it's not for fucking America. You guys hate everything that is American. You hate the idea of freedom because freedom lets people make their own choices. And when people make their own choices, they're going to get different outcomes from you. They're going to operate differently from you. This is why they have to silence and censor. This is the only way they can fight against the truth or reality. They can't let other people speak. So fucking stupid. I understand why people fucking hate Hasan, bro. Fucking dickhead, bro. Shocking the fuck out of your dog for no fucking reason, bro. For what? Just because the dog moved a little bit? But that's the mindset of a lot of these communist guys. That's how they think. They hate everything that is natural and just real. They hate the idea of freedom. They hate it. You have to do what I want you to do only. You can't do anything else. You can make no decisions. That's why they silence. That's why they censor. That's why they kill you. That's why they want to kill you. That's why a lot of these leftists want to kill conservatives. Conservatives just speak. Conservatives just exercise the freedoms that the founding fathers built this country on. And they hate that shit because it leads to outcomes that they can never hope to have themselves. And even if they could hope to have those outcomes, they still want to control everybody else. Hasan makes a ton of money, but still he retorts these ideas of taking from rich people. I'm like, nigga, you're rich yourself. The contradictions are there too. For a lot of these communists, it's just evil inherently. So anyway, that's just my whole opinion on the whole Hasan situation and all that other bullshit. This is how communists are fucking are, bro. That's how their morality works. They just seek control over everybody else. They hate the idea of freedom. They're anti-freedom. They want to take all your stuff. They want to kill you if you have any dissenting opinion or if you think differently. If you're not willing to just give up all your stuff for free to everybody for no fucking reason, if you're not willing to give your hard-earned money and your hard-earned resources to fucking Juan, who just hopped the border yesterday, you're an evil person. Like, that's their logic. And actually, the last thing I'll kind of say on this too is if somebody forces you to feel a type of way, if somebody forces you to think a particular way, they hate you. That's it. That's a wrong. That's what evil inherently is. If I say you can only think this, you can only feel this, I'm wronging you. That's a wrong. If I'm saying you have to believe that there's 99 genders, if I'm saying you have to believe that trans women are women, or you get shot in the neck, or I shock you, I'm committing a crime against you guys. I'm impeding your freedom. I can't tell you guys how to feel. I can't even tell you niggas what to think. Of course, I can give you the opportunity to think about stuff based off what I say, but I can't force you to think certain things. I can't. So if I start forcing you to think certain things, if I start forcing you to believe certain things, I'm committing a crime against you. I'm impeding on your freedom. And obviously, as many of you guys know, this is how the left operates. 2020 was a great example of a lot of this nonsense. You know, they force, oh, you're racist, oh, you're bigoted, you're a bad person. But this has nothing to do with racism or bigotry. I'm just saying niggas are kind of violent over here. No, it doesn't matter. That's racist. Like, do you see what I'm saying? They're impeding on your thoughts. They're saying you can't think that. I'm like, how? I'm a human. I think. What the fuck? Because when you start thinking, they threaten violence against you because they know, hey, if I threaten violence against this guy, he won't think those thoughts anymore. See, impeding on your freedom to think. I hope this is really making sense for you niggas. I want you guys to see how these niggas are evil and they impede on your freedom. Because I'll be real with you, these leftists and these liberals and these Dems are evil. The evidence is there. It speaks for itself in their behavior and their morality. When they be shocking dogs and shit, you can see the evil. You can see it for yourself. Unlike them, I actually have evidence of the dumb shit they do. I have the evidence of their evil. They'll just call you a Nazi or fascist or whatever for disagreeing that trans people don't exist, that men can't become women. They'll just say you're a Nazi or a fascist just because you disagree. They don't even let you explain. But on this side of the aisle, we have the evidence that you niggas are just evil. That you niggas are more than willing to impede on the rights of people just because you disagree. Not because you actually have any logical reason behind it. Not because there's detail behind your thoughts or your ideas, but just because you don't like what they fucking said, so they should be silenced. That's evil. I don't know what you guys constitute as evil, but that's pretty evil to me. If I don't like something you're saying and I want to kill you or stop you from talking or hurt you, that's pretty evil. That's what evil people do. That's how bad people operate. So anyway, these fucking Dems, leftists, and commies, bro, just like fucking stupid, fucking evil, bro. And they always end up showing their true colors at the end of the day, as you guys have seen with Hasan. So, okay.